I'm Sean Fennessey.
I'm Amanda Dobbins.
And this is 25 for 25, a big picture special conversation show about Marie Antoinette. And that's such nonsense. I would never say that. We are talking today about the Sofia Coppola choice.
Yeah.
This is the big picture. So, of course, there would be a Sofia Coppola movie. You have been bursting at the seams.
Yes.
To talk about this movie, to talk about Sofia as part of this project.
Yes.
We've chosen Marie Antoinette. I think most listeners of the show were thinking...
Expect Lost in Translation.
Yes.
Including my husband, who when I told him of this decision said, I don't agree with that. So everyone at home, if you don't agree, you know, are being heard in my household, but you are not in charge because it's now your podcast.
I think that it's very important for you to be the most dominant voice on this episode. The one thing that I will say is I like Lost in Translation more as a film, but I think this is a superior film and an excellent choice.
Yeah, thank you. Same.
Take it away. Why did you go here?
So you encouraged me to. And people hear on the episode that I think even I reflexively, I knew that, you know, Lost in Translation was, you know, Sofia Coppola's like crowning achievement, sort of like she had made Virgin Suicides, but it was her big entrance into Hollywood. It is generally the most accepted. She won the Oscar for screenplay, was nominated for director and for Best Picture. So like, and it's wonderful. I love that movie.
This episode is presented by LinkedIn Ads.
Sometimes marketing gets wasted on the wrong people. Like if you see an ad for movie-themed dog sweaters when you don't even have a pet.
Reach exactly who you need with LinkedIn Ads. With a network of 130 million decision makers, they can help you target by job title, industry, company size, or even skills. It's one of the reasons LinkedIn Ads generates the highest B2B return on ad spend of all online ad networks. Seriously, all of them.
Try it out. Spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn Ads and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/thebigpicture. Terms and conditions apply.
You did a great episode of The Rewatchables on it with Bill.
Thank you so much. You know, and Bill actually on that episode identified one thing about why I love Marie Antoinette that we'll talk more about.
Okay.
But I have been thinking a lot about the Quentin Tarantino quote that you mentioned a couple weeks ago when we were talking about One Battle After Another and deciding like what's the best. And there is the best movie, my favorite movie, and the movie that only I could make. And this is the movie that only Sofia Coppola can make. And it's like the complete Sofia Coppola cinematic universe package. And also just it's so unexpected. She uses all of like the money and clout from Lost in Translation. It is one of the great blank checks to make an epic costume drama filmed at the Palace of Versailles, like unprecedented access, with 7 wardrobe trucks worth of costumes, and an awesome rock and roll, like post-punk new romantic soundtrack. About the most reviled figure in French history, and makes it a sympathetic portrait, and like all about teen girl shit, and then debuts it at Cannes. Like that is legendary stuff, and she does it also in like a sort of like unassuming. It's not quiet, but there aren't a lot of words in this. It's all baked into the filmmaking, so it's so deeply Sofia Coppola in a way that thrills me. And it also stars Kirsten Dunst. And that was what Bill observed, which was that my favorite Sofia Coppola movie does have to be a movie starring Kirsten Dunst. They have worked together, but that is also like my energy. And I love this performance. It's so beautiful to look at. And so I love watching it. I love the soundtrack. It rules. And and no one else could do it.
So funny to see you in the spot that I often find myself in, of kind of like finding all the things that I love and talking about why I love them. I think this is an amazing achievement of conception, right? She had like just a brilliant idea. Yeah. And we've been talking a lot about budgets recently because of the One Battle After Another stuff. And like PCA has never made a movie this big. And this is Sofia Coppola's biggest movie by far. Yeah. It's not $150 million, but it's $40 million. Right. I think her next biggest movie is probably in the area of $20 million. You know, like The Beguiled and Priscilla and those films are all somewhere between 10 and 20. But this is an example of when we say like, what can you do with more? Like why you should empower an artist sometimes. Lost in Translation, I don't know what its ultimate box office take was, but it did very well at the box office, which is one of the reasons why she got to make this movie. And to her infinite credit, puts it all on screen.
Right.
Because it's such an oral and visual overload. It's just such a like an incredibly realized execution of her idea that like I really doff my cap to this movie, even though it's never going to be like emotionally
it's not like
true to me.
Which is also a little bit of what makes it exciting to me, is that it is really, of all her movies, is like the most girl world, like the most sort of siloed from male influence. Like, you know, Virgin Suicides is narrated by the Neighborhood Boys. Lost in Translation is Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. It's the two characters and what they can like teach each other. Beguiled and Priscilla are about what happens when like a weird man comes into like girl world, or a girl gets slurped into a very weird man's world. On the Rocks is about like a dad-daughter relationship somewhere, dad-daughter relationship. So there are, you know, looming Francis Ford Coppola-like figures in most of her movies. And there are obviously men in this in the form of Rip Torn as Louis the 15th and Jason Schwartzman as Louis the 16th, but like they're incidental. They are like technically in power, but you know, Louis the 16th, Jason Schwartzman's character is like, I don't know if he's impotent or just, you know, blocked for a long time. It seems like blocked.
I think he's a little picky, a little specific.
Sure. Psychological. You know, and they don't really matter. And so everything that Marie Antoinette, as played by Kirsten Dunst, is experiencing is like dictated by women. You know, the power figures are her mother, and then one of the countesses, I can't remember
Judy
her
Davis's
name.
character.
Judy Davis's character. Yeah. They all have like very long titles and are pronounced with like varying degrees of a French accent. So we'll just use the actors' names.
And played by actresses who have these kind of like severe and intense qualities.
Right. And then, so the rules are laid down by women. She gets approval and companionship like from women with, you know, the acceptance, like, this is famously like one of Jamie Dornan's, if not his first movie part. Yeah. And he's there as like the hunky guy, but he shows up like 90 minutes in for like 15 minutes.
Huge W for the Irish in this movie.
Yeah. Listen, and like he looks great.
Very handsome chap.
It is like the rules, the social structure, the stakes, everything. And really all of the people around her are all women. And then it's the concerns are girl stuff, you know, and girl stuff in terms of like shoes and like macarons and pastries and fashion, but also like who's being mean to me and like who is going to sleep with me, or why won't this person sleep with me, or how does this all kind of work out? It just feels very young woman, like enclosed in a way that is awesome to me because it doesn't have any of your shit. And I like your shit, you know, I'm raising the next generation of Bobs, you know, so
shit,
you know, most boy stuff. I appreciate it. And when I am like submerged in it in a male filmmaker's film, like, I appreciate it, but it like there is something special about, I'm just like, look at all these flowers. I really do like flowers that much. I want to see this many flowers.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sophia is the great artist of her generation in this kind of milieu.
Exactly.
Like for you know, not all female filmmakers are interested in macarons and pink and, you know, Chucks or Converse set in the world it has, of like, 17th century France.
It's really related to like to the world of fashion and fashion spreads. I was rereading her archive book last night. And in one of the captions are just like hilariously perfunctory. I love this woman so much. But
what is an example of that?
Where she's just like, it was nice to have Jamie Dornan in his first film. It's like literally a caption. She just like lists people on them, but it's okay. That's fine. She has used other languages.
I Can I like dig in a little deeper on that?
Wait, but let me just finish.
Yeah, finish your thought.
She says that the idea for the color palette of this movie came from a Marc Jacobs show that was inspired by the Lingerie macarons. And then, so it goes from fashion show to this movie to then like every mall in America, basically.
Right. Very influential.
Yeah, but the fashion and like the art world, music of it all, she references like photographers a lot and did study photography. So that is her language, not speaking.
Yeah, and now full circle with making a Marc Jacobs documentary,
exactly.
20 years later.
They've been like friends and collaborators for many, many years.
So I think this movie has quite a lot to say about what women are and are not allowed to do and what they represent, and maybe why they are demonized in ways that men are not demonized. And, like I said, an ingenious conceit behind this idea, even though she very comfortably like fudges with the history, this is not meant to be a dramatic recreation of the facts.
It is inspired by an Antonia Fraser biography that is historical, but is like a reinterpretation of
considered
this
sympathetic
idea of Marie Antoinette, who did not say, "Let them eat cake," reportedly.
So those captions, like this is not my belief, but this is something that you hear about Sofia Coppola movies. That the inarticulation is representative of no, they're there. That like, but
that's like, I mean, that's both being sexist and like not having eyes, because another thing that Sofia Coppola does in her filmmaking that makes me vibrate with excitement is she is one of the most observant and judgiest people in all the great land. And the judging is communicated through a camera angle. The judging is communicated through what is included and what is seen and what is not seen. And why is this person wearing makeup like that? And why is this shoe here? And why are we looking at something this way? And what is the perspective? So she sees all. And this is like a pretty vicious movie about everyone involved. And, is definitely sympathetic to Marie Antoinette, but also like she really just does like disappear in the countryside to like read Rousseau is it Rousseau that she's reading in like a pretty stupid way? Like, I don't think that particular scene is filmed like they're, No,
it's a movie about a princess who's lived an absolute, but it does not feature her being beheaded. For example, like there are elisions of truth.
It's not punishing her. Well, it's not elisions. I mean, it's just...
I think you would go to a Marie Antoinette movie expecting to see a beheading. I think that's reasonable to assume. That is the thing that people know most about her beyond like an EK.
Yeah. I mean, you see the crowd showing up and you see like the final wrecked room.
I love that. That's another example of... To me, I'm not criticizing it. I think that is an artistic gesture that is like very considered and smart. And that not showing the beheading is obviously very intentional.
Yeah.
It is very purposeful that like what we don't need to do is to show a woman being butchered in the face of this revolution. Now, reasonable people can disagree about that, but I really like that there are a lot of choices being made here. Lost in Translation is an interesting movie because it feels very worked out in real time. It's very naturalistic. It's funny and it's a lot of fun to watch. But you can feel Bill Murray kind of like making parts of the movie up with Sofia and Scarlett Johansson in real time. It has his antic energy.
Yes.
This is a very framed and imagined and executed film. Like it is very specific to your point about what we're seeing and what we're not seeing. It feels it is deeply auteurist, in a way that not a lot of costume dramas are. Like costume dramas feel like they're trying to like adapt a book or hit history, and this being such a dramatic reimagining of the world, I feel like is one of the big achievements of it.
Yes, and another thing of you expect certain music cues, you expect certain even like character development in a costume drama, and this is a coming of age story in a way, but she does also then not really pay attention and then is beheaded. Even if you don't see it, like the last shot of of Marie Antoinette is her saying, like, I'm saying goodbye to the Palace of Versailles. So, it subverts everything that someone like me who grew up on Merchant Ivory movies like expects to see in this type of film.
Yeah, we've been preparing for a Daniel Day-Lewis episode.
Yeah.
And I watched A Room with a View recently, which is a very good movie.
It was your first time, right?
Yeah. And I was surprised by how those films don't have energy. And I don't mean that as a criticism.
So I think that's unfair to Room with a View in particular, because the field scene.
I mean, there's beauty in the film.
It's swooning.
There is a lack of electricity. They're very analog films, and this is not an analog film, even though it is a time without electricity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to denigrate A Room with a View, which I thought was good, but this movie feels like it's plugged into something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard to accomplish in costumes. You don't really see that very often with this kind of thing. I think the soundtrack does a lot of heavy lifting.
Of course.
I think it lights up a lot of moments. It's also very helpful that her taste is so funny, because half of it is here's what I liked when I was 12.
Right.
Bow Wow Wow and I discovered Gang of Four and all that stuff.
Exactly.
And then half of it is here's what I thought was cool when I was 26, and it's like the Strokes.
Which is just like,
which is honestly for us is great.
I had forgotten the Strokes needle drop until my rewatch, and I was just like, oh wow, like this really is sort of my my Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's one of their best songs.
Yeah.
And perfectly used in this. And there is to me, the music in this movie always felt like this fine-grained combination of here's why I'm cool and here's why I'm sincere, which I think is a good.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the Sofia Coppola project, right?
Yeah.
Like she is really plumbing the depths of her experiences, and she's trying to, through her characters, show how she feels as a person. That's what all great filmmakers do, right? Especially writer-directors. But she's like, I'm fucking cool. Like I'm into cool stuff. My shit looks cool. My hair is nice.
I know.
Like that, and that is a big part of what she's interested. That is a big part of what you're interested in too.
Yeah.
And this movie communicates that, I think, more than most of the other movies. It's not. There is a coolness to somewhere, but that's not what the movie's interested in. Like that's the two characters. Like it's a young girl and it's a guy who's kind of like starting to get a little washed out in his life.
Yes, exactly.
Bling Ring is about like trying for that.
Right. It's kind of like the mirror image of this in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, and you could also tell in Bling Ring that like, she's not comfortable in those aesthetics. Like, TMZ, like the Paris Hilton of it all is not what Sofia Coppola thinks is cool or how she would dress.
Yes.
And so like there is a discomfort in the filmmaking that is because it just doesn't look the way she thinks things should look. But
I think
this does.
That's super insightful, because she has sympathy for those girls, but doesn't really get it.
No.
Like she's not, because she's not of that world. And the more recent films are her entering, I think, different levels of abstraction through her ideas. The Beguiled, even On the Rocks, and especially Priscilla to me, are kind of like late style, where you're like, I know what you're interested in.
Yeah.
No one is better at this kind of production design. Like you make these movies beautiful. Right. There's a real cleverness to the writing and the framing of especially the female characters. I think Priscilla's very good.
Priscilla is this movie in a lot of ways on a smaller scale and budget, obviously. And in a later period of life, right? Like it's 20 years after Marie Antoinette. Yep. So Sofia Coppola is, 20 years on this journey of being, the young woman in a gilded cage with like perfect taste. So I find it interesting in a way to watch her like revisit like the same idea, but now with teen daughters of her own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she's got a house style. It's important.
To me, her analog is not in this conversation from my perspective is not her father or Scorsese or even her Gen X contemporaries like Tarantino or PTA or whatever. It's Paul Schrader, where it's like every Paul Schrader movie is kind of the same movie. It's in a different world. It's in a different time. Yeah. The person has a different job, but the hallmarks are so consistent that if you only see two, you might say to yourself, like, why are you repeating this idea? Yeah. But if you see 10, then you're like, well, I'm so happy to be back inside this person's head. And this movie is a very, very elevated example of being inside of Sofia's head.
Fun. Last night when I was like getting really wild with the outline, I was like, in some ways, this is like my Taxi Driver, you know?
It totally is.
Now that you bring up Paul Schrader.
It totally is.
But it's like, you know, they have some things in common, and then Sofia Coppola would not be caught dead on Facebook. So,
well, not yet. You know what? When she's on TikTok in 5 years,
she is on Instagram.
Okay, well, but not like going live.
No,
has she reviewed one battle on?
No,
she only Schrader
uses
posted on one battle.
No, did he?
He did. He said, the filmmaking was A+ level. However, I kept waiting for Leo and Sean Penn to die through the entire film.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a very Paul Schrader take.
It certainly does. I agree with that.
On filmmaking.
First of all, I think we should say some of the names of the people who worked on the movie, because you're right to point them out. Why don't you do it since you put this together?
Okay. So this was shot by Lance Accord, which is the last Lance Accord movie.
Last feature.
Last Sofia Lance Accord collaboration.
He made a movie called God's Pocket with John Slattery, the actor from Mad Men. Yeah. That's the last movie he shot. That's over 10 years ago.
But he shot, Lost in Translation, and also many of Spike Jonze's movies when they were, because this is after the Spike Jonze
Split.
Spike Jonze is in the featurette for the making of Lost in Translation. He's there at the beginning, and then he's not there at the end, and he's not there at the Oscars.
Yeah. They are starting to split.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we've seen Lost in Translation.
Yeah. But Lance Accord shot Where the Wild Things Are after this movie, so he managed to bridge the gap.
Yes. Costume design by Milena Cananero, a 4-time Oscar winner, including for this film.
Yes. And also for Barry Lyndon, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she made like 4 movies with Kubrick.
Yes. She's also she's the costume director for Megalopolis. So if you've seen Megadoc, you can see her mask just being like, no, I need to vet like every single person's drape, just to give you an idea of the energy. But like the wardrobe undertaking is phenomenal in this movie.
I think she has also been Wes Anderson's costume designer since like Grand Budapest, maybe?
Definitely Grand Budapest, because she won an Oscar for that. And then through Phoenician's Game.
Yeah. She's a genius.
Yeah.
A legit genius.
60 people on the wardrobe crew, 7 transport drivers, 10 rental houses near Versailles for all of the storage and everything. Like, that is action filmmaking, but for costumes. No, seriously.
Yeah, this is your Michael Bay movie.
And it's absolutely, I mean, they're beautiful. Mm-hmm. They're incredible. I wouldn't want to wear any of them, but, that's the point. And then hair by Odile Gibert. Including the very large, who did like a lot of hair for Galliano, which was some of the inspiration.
Okay.
And then flowers by Thierry Boutmy. And I know this because another of the captions in the archive was just, the flowers were by Thierry Boutmy. It was always a lift when they arrived. I love her so much. Her publishing imprint is called Important Flowers.
That's great.
No one's gotten me any of those books. She's got a Chanel book. She's got a Virgin Suicides book. I'm waiting. Anyway.
Well, one day you'll turn 40 and you'll get them. I think that someone should do a coffee table book about this show with those kinds of captions. I think we should have Chris write captions like that about various episodes we've recorded together. Hell of a cast.
Yeah.
And a very... They're not quite discoveries, but a lot of people at very early stages of their career. You mentioned Jamie Dornan. This is the first time I'd ever seen him for sure. Got to be one of the first times I ever saw Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Black Hawk Down is the first time I saw him for sure. But then after that, this might be the next thing I saw him in some years later. And then Rose Byrne is a huge part of this movie.
Great. Incredible entrance.
She's wonderful throughout the film. She's so beautiful. But she's great in this movie. She's very funny. Sweden. Yeah, I was reading about her character, and literally in the Wikipedia page of her character, she's described as a favorite of Marie Antoinette. And I was like, okay, well, that explains it. And if you like the movie The Favorite, there's certainly some aspects of that story in here. And then you mentioned the great Rip Torn, Marianne Faithfull playing her mother, Judy Davis as sort of the countess.
Sure.
Danny Houston as her brother, phenomenal in one scene of this movie. 2 scenes, I guess.
Basically, you win an Oscar and then you use it to have Danny Houston petting an elephant at Versailles. Okay, like that is art.
It's a good choice. Yeah. It's a very, very good choice. Shirley Henderson, Steve Coogan, 2 British actors we tend to see in a lot of films like this.
Steve Coogan as the ambassador, and trying to play it straight and serious, but the fact that you've cast Steve Coogan in this role like underlines the absurdity of it all.
But it's a good choice because there is something, especially in the second half of the movie, that I love tonally, where it's like things are really bad in France right now. And her being kept in this little Easter egg, this Fabergé egg that has been built around her.
Right.
And he is one of the only people who is giving her information that could encourage her to realize what is happening, but he's doing it in such a careful, restrained, don't fire me kind of way that he's well cast.
Yeah. Who else? What other names haven't we said? We've said Kirsten Dunst once, but this is...
Tell me about her performance. What do you like about it?
Well, I mean, it's amazing how young she is in it now, which just because she's kept working, and I'm glad to have her.
Yeah.
She's
actually supposed to be even younger, right? Wasn't Marie Antoinette like 15?
15, yeah. And they age her down, but it's like a pretty wide age range.
Yeah.
A vulnerable, mean girl, just a mix of all of the emotions that I do think that you feel if you're 15, 16, 17, but you want other people to like you. You also want to edge some people out. There is an obliviousness, but also like a sweetness to everything that she's doing. And just, her face can communicate so much. And this is a film that it's like maybe the ultimate reaction shot film, because it just cuts to people either in the crowd or Kirsten Dunst just being like,
yeah,
or really, or, they're very, very funny. And then she gets some of, to me, like truly laugh out loud moments. The one when she's forced to say hello to the Comtesse du Barry because of how Versailles works. And he's like, there are a lot of people at Versailles today, like in her best Valley accent.
Yep.
So funny.
Yep.
And then later on, she wants oak tree. The whole oak tree scene is up there for me with her just like driving the golf cart away in Melancholia. Which is like, I need big trees. How long will that take? And then they're like, hey, you've run out of money. And she's like, I'll take the small trees. And then runs off. I'll take the small trees.
She's very, very... the choice also to obviously not have her perform a British accent or French accent or everything. Also very wise.
Yes.
And do you think that made this movie more successful or less successful? Because, critically is very split.
The accents?
Just the whole conceit. Like Roger Ebert just got it. Like he gave this movie 4 stars. He was like, this is a brilliant act of realization. But other critics were like, this is a silly, like soft defense of Marie Antoinette.
Right.
And
they were judging both Marie Antoinette as well as, they had the old interpretation and aren't really willing to get on board. And there obviously is a huge amount of, not a huge amount, but you can see the parallels between Sofia Coppola, daughter of one of the great American filmmakers, had a rough start in the cinema industry as an actress, and then is now making like her own movie, concerned with a lot of the things, likes fashion, which I guess is, completely superficial to some people.
Yeah, I think it is considered frivolous by some, but in the world of filmmaking, it's hugely important.
Right. So, people, I think, some people received Marie Antoinette, the movie, from Sofia Coppola as that they received Marie Antoinette, at the time.
Yeah. There's one other thing that you have here that I find really interesting. Oh, the cited influences.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a couple of observations, a couple of questions for you about this. So she cites Kubrick. Barry Lyndon is an obvious, perfect match, double feature, and especially the characterization of Ryan O'Neal in Barry Lyndon opposite.
Right,
exactly. So you can see huge inspiration points there. This is kind of like the flip, spoiled, person who gets their comeuppance in a lot of ways. Terrence Malick, which is interesting.
All the Petit Trianon, which is the palace that she moves to at the end when she's like running around with the fields, and that little French child is like, Petit abbé, I love you, Petit abbé.
Yes, the natural world, our relationship to the natural world. Milos Forman, which I guess is his series of costume dramas that he's worked on over the years. And then Ken Russell's Listomania.
Yeah.
Which is his gonzo biopic of Franz Liszt,
Yeah.
the composer, the like megastar composer. Now, Listomania is also the name of
her,
Phoenix's biggest hit, right?
Yes, which
one of their
second,
biggest
but
hits.
Yeah. And I think that's Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is that album.
The album,
name.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Or Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix, whatever.
Did she put Thomas Mars onto Listomania? Was he a big Liszt guy? Like, how do these things? I like the idea of them just like hanging out after work and talking about this.
Yeah, this is when they're getting together. They're like Phoenix, the band, are like in the famous 2003 Lynn Hirschberg profile, like tied to Lost in Translation.
Yep.
So they're on their way in. Like Phoenix, the band, are literally in this film. They are when like the little foursome, like the quartet playing music for Marie Antoinette are Phoenix. And I believe that they're also from Versailles.
Okay.
Like that the French kids, they're like childhood friends from Versailles. So
he is from Versailles.
I don't know
Mars.
whether they are, it seems like a cross-cultural exchange of ideas, and they're getting together. That song comes out in like 2008, 2009. I don't want to say she put him onto it. Maybe just a shared interest.
Yeah. I just think that's fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
And I like the idea of Ken Russell being an influence on her. It's maybe not something I had thought about before, but does make a lot of sense. And he has also made a lot of costume dramas that break the rules.
Yeah.
That's something that is really cool about this movie, is this sense that she keeps doing things that you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
What else? What else do you want to say about this movie? It won 1 Academy Award.
Yeah.
For costume design, which is the most like ironic, self-realized thing imaginable. That's like, we can only give this girly movie.
Well, let's talk about so this did premiere at Cannes, which again is awesome from everyone involved.
French didn't love it.
They didn't love it. And so the legend is that it was like booed aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
And like before we were doing standing ovation meters or whatever at film festivals, it was like, did something get booed or not was the headline takeaway.
That's right.
I think that everyone's tried to walk that back and say that it did get an ovation, but the boos weren't. There were just a smattering of boos, which Europeans do.
Ebert wrote about this. He wrote that like, this is just something that happens at Cannes. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but it did make headlines. And so it kind of got attached to the movie. Everyone was like pretty mixed to it. I think a lot of people did go to it expecting that Bill Murray zaniness. I like, Bill Murray is like the entrance ramp into Lost in Translation for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And to Sophia World.
Yes.
And that's, one of what makes it a great movie. And she obviously responds to him. He's been in 2 more things that she's done, including A Very Merry Christmas, which I think should have been eligible for this list, but we can only pick one Sophia movie.
I do not.
It's really delightful.
Okay. Support you.
Okay. And
you got your pick. When
I know.
Who are you arguing with?
But so then I saw this movie at the Cobble Hill Cinemas with my friend Maya. I've quoted this before, but the movie ended and Maya just went, so she doesn't like a lot of words in her movies.
That was why I asked. That's why I pitched the inarticulation question. You hear this over somewhere even more so. Are there 100 lines of dialogue in that movie?
Yeah,
Probably not.
But they do the teacup thing underwater while the Best Strokes B-side ever plays.
I'm a huge fan of Somewhere. It's not a judgment, but it is slow cinema for aspirant young women. That is really this is the Bella Tarr.
We deserve it as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Anything in conclusion?
How are you feeling about this over Lost in Translation? You'll stand with me? I mean, you are standing with me. You encouraged me to do it.
I think it's the exact kind of thing I want us to be doing with this list, And I think this is the movie that kind of like gets to the absolute core of you.
Yeah.
And it matters to you.
It does.
And it says something about how you feel about art, way the women are represented, et cetera, et cetera. And it's made by your favorite filmmaker. So I think it's great.
Okay.
I have no undermining interest whatsoever. I do think that she has other great films.
Yeah.
I think Virgin Suicides, Lost in Translation, are in a very similar tier for me with Marie Antoinette.
Totally.
And then I think Somewhere and Priscilla are in like the next tier for me.
I would agree with that.
As far as films I think are really, really good.
Yeah.
The other stuff is a little bit more of a mixed bag.
Same.
But Yeah, I feel really good about this.
Okay.
Any other recommended if you likes for this?
So Barry Lyndon and Clueless were the first two that jumped out, which is really
2 great comedies.
The summation of my cinematic interests.
That's right.
But also The Favorite, as you mentioned, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yes.
And Bring It On, which is, about another Kirsten Dunst stuck in another world of girls with some very strict rules. And she has to learn some hard truths.
You got 2 Kirsten Dunst movies on this list.
I fucking know I did.
And of course, Civil War will be number 1. So you'll get 3 Kirsten Dunst movies on this list, which is exciting. What other acting credits? I don't mind saying that The Power of the Dog will not be making it.
Yeah.
What else? Spider-Man will not be making it.
No, sorry.
Elizabethtown will not be making it. If Elizabethtown starred, let me think. Who could this have been? If it starred Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Instead of...
No, I mean, hard no for me.
Okay, you prefer what we got in that film.
I think that it's misconceived, Okay. Sometimes...
I'm a defender.
That's fine.
I'm actually a hardcore defender.
Okay, but it's this and Garden State that together are Manic Pixie Dream Girl. It's really mostly Garden State, right?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some why are you interested in this guy energy from Kirsten Dunst in Elizabethtown, but I don't think it's annoying. What would have been a really bold choice is Bachelorette. That would have been a ballsy pick.
It's honorable mentions for sure.
Okay.
That movie absolutely rules.
And then we'll be making space for Roofman shortly.
Okay. Yeah, I got to see that.
Apparently she plays a woman named Lee Wainscott.
Okay.
What's wainscoting? What is that? Isn't that something in a home?
Yeah, it's like indoor siding almost for I think.
Cool. A very Sofia Coppola conceit.
Is it? I don't know whether it's that or whether it's the trim at the ceiling, at the edge.
I'll let you figure that out on your
I don't know. That's
home decor podcast.
The next phase of my life.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know. I see you. I
have so many plans.
Yes,
also, but the shot right before the I Want Kanye montage, it's when her sister-in-law has just had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
She runs in and she's wearing one floral dress and is back on another floral wallpaper situation. And I was I like this pattern mixing, maybe this is what I'm going for, this level of textile interplay.
I'm very happy to have allowed you to work these feelings out in public on a movie pod so that you can get to your home influencer pod shortly. Thanks to our producer, Jack Sanders, for his work on this episode. We have number 9 coming not next week.
The week after.
I think not even the week after.
Mm-hmm.
The week after.
You've got us on a pretty robust schedule in October.
We have 4 25 for 25s coming in October.
Yeah.
Because we really got to get to the end of this list.
Okay.
9, 8, and 7 are really good.
Everything's really good at this point.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's just,
Do you have you feel like this is the right placement for this one?
Well, I was thinking about it. I was feeling a little bit of anxiety, when my heart is now on the line. This is my big movie.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you supporting me. When I was thinking about it being at number 10, and this is we're doing 25 for 25. So hopefully people will share the 25 movies. But if anyone did a top 10, this is good list making that Marie Antoinette is number 10.
The top 10 is good, in my opinion.
But it's also...
I was most focused on that.
In the same way that we had Michael Clayton at 25, because when you make a list, just some free journalism school for everyone at home, you need something to grab people at the top, something that they want to read, want to hear about. And they're also going to be wait, why is that so low? Or why is that there? I have some opinions about the placement. So I think this is good
We're just
placement.
having fun. This is just a fun exercise for us.
I love this movie.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank
we
you.
will be back later this week with an episode about The Smashing Machine, and we will also Best Picture Power Rank, because it's been a month since we were in Venice and Telluride. So
wow.
we will see you on Friday.